All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time, and I'm thinking it's about 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Matt Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we've already got a couple people hanging out, just waiting for the chatter to begin. Rick is in the house. Darlene is in the house. Shock might be in the house, but I'm not quite sure. I think she poked her head in, but then she decided she was going someplace else. I've got my Ashes kitty in the house. Who knows what shenanigans she will get up to. And let's see here. What else have we got? It looks like Darlene's in the house, but I might have mentioned that already. And I'm wondering if Darlene has some snowy snow. We don't have snow here in Seattle, but boy, oh boy, we had some chilly weather last night. Looks like Andre is in the house as well. And speaking of last night, I want to thank everybody for hanging out last night when we watched Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It was a bit of a bogus journey that we had to take in order to get to our final destination, but we did get there, and that was thanks to the patience of all y'all, and ultimately thanks to Rick and Darlene for getting us the video to begin with. All right, so since she's here and insisting on making herself known, here's Ashes for everybody. And perhaps by the time I'm done harassing her, she won't feel the need to get all up, ouch, in our faces. There she is, being all, oh no, she said. Okay, so snow did hit you during the day, but only 2 inches. That's not so bad. That is not so bad. And let's see here, Andre. Well, not as bogus, because I did not have to die. That is true, other than from embarrassment from the fuzzy tech. Well, I have to say, I luckily did not get embarrassed over that. Mostly because I've had way rougher tech nights. Andre, in fact, you and Kenny from the Cove basically hung out during the roughest Statterbox at the Cinema Tech night. I think it was when we were trying to watch, it was either Rollerball or it was a Tyler Perry movie, What's-Her-Face has Halloween, Medea does Halloween or something, but both of those streams were tech nightmares, and really, once we struggled through those, and by we, I mean Andre, you, me, and Kenny, because everybody else was just like, this is not working, I am not wasting my time. But yeah, couldn't have been any more of a nightmare than that particular night. So there we have it. All right, so Packers won on Thanksgiving, so they had the day off today. Good deal, good deal. The Seahawks lost on Thanksgiving, and they still also have the day off today because the Seahawks are playing next Thursday against Dallas. I have been told to expect another loss by the Seahawks to the Cowboys, but frankly, I don't want that to happen. I feel like that would I don't know what the Cowboys are doing this year, nor do I really care. I just don't want the Seahawks to lose to the Cowboys. I didn't want them to lose to the 49ers either, but I knew they were going to, so, All right, Picola T checking in from Santa's workshop, boxing up gifts to mail to the continent. Excellent. And Felicia, hey, good to see you. All right, cool. And it looks like Darlene is also a little bit of Santa's workshopping. This is a perfect time to do some Santa's workshopping. Sit around, listen to some chat, get a giggle on, and get the packages wrapped. I gotta say, the one thing that I do miss about having gifts and holiday gatherings, etc., is I love wrapping gifts. Like, oh my god, you guys, I love to wrap gifts. In fact, I need to figure out someplace that I can, like, volunteer to wrap gifts or something, because I love wrapping gifts. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to talk about various and assorted things. But now that we've got people coming in, let's get the party started. right. There we go. Andre, Soda Wax must want to see the Eagles mess up the 49ers. Are the Eagles and the 49ers playing today? I don't really think that Soda Wax cares so much about the 49ers, but he does want to see the Eagles win. So regardless of whether or not, I don't think it matters who the Eagles are playing. He would rather just see them win, basically. And Picola T, you and Mr. Picola T were kind of crazy. You went to Costco on Black Friday. Surprisingly, it was not very busy. You know, sometimes it is worth going against your better judgment, and sometimes you are pleasantly surprised. I went to Costco once on Christmas Eve, which I knew was the dumbest idea ever. But there was a reason why I did what I did. Serious as a heart attack, you guys. Because Costco is so insane during certain times, they staff for that. I had the quickest Costco trip of my life on Christmas Eve. And I even bought a couple extra things that I went in there not intending to buy. But because they had like basically cashier line attendants and traffic cops, for lack of a better word, letting people know, it's like, line 19 is open and ready, move, blah, blah, blah. You know, sir, you're in a long line. There's a shorter line over there. Get in line over there. I mean, they had things managed so amazingly well because Costco is used to crowds. That, like I said, I was actually in and out of Costco in one of the fastest trips of my life on Christmas Eve. Never would have guessed it. I was anticipating it to ruin my evening, but instead I actually left kind of skipping because I was just like, wow, that was easier than I thought. And so let's see here. Andre's correcting me. No, next game the 49ers play is the Eagles. Got it. And let's see here. Rick and Darlene ventured out on Black Friday as well. It was busy at some of the stores, but you've seen worse. I kind of feel like they've created a situation with Black Friday where it doesn't need to be the way it was back in 1984 when Cabbage Patch Kids created riots in Toys R Us, right? Because the Black Friday sales, they seem to extend for practically the entire month of November. So why do you need to, rush and break an arm on Friday, right? Let's see here. And it looks like Felicia is enjoying her last day as a 60-year-old. And so Rick bringing in words of wisdom. Tomorrow you can say that you survived the 60s twice. Excelente. And let's see here. So we've got Gina in the house as well. And I might have said hi to Gina before, but I might not have. So in case I didn't. And let's see here. Picola T, same, exactly. 3 people at each register, 1 to pull the items from the cart, sort on the belt, 1 to ring up, and 1 to fill the cart. Super speedy. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Costco plans for these particular days. And so it's kind of, not that I'm suggesting you go to Costco on Christmas Eve or on Black Friday or whenever, but it kind of pays to go when they're prepared for the crowds because you get in and out a little bit earlier. And Andre, you bought stuff online on Black Friday. There you go. And let's see here. Rick, you prefer going to the stores. And let's see here. Are you doing any Cyber Monday shopping? Right. Yeah, I definitely don't like, okay, I buy stuff online, I do, but let's get real. I don't use Amazon. I'm with you, Rick. I'd just really rather go to the store. Now, ironically, I'd really rather go to the store only a little bit sometimes. When it comes to grocery shopping, oh, heck to the no. My grocery store, Fred Meyer, offers free pickup. So I do, for the last probably year and a half, I can honestly say I haven't stepped inside of a grocery store in the past year, because I just go online, fredmeyer.com, and say, I want milk, I want Pog, I want this, I want, I choose my items, and then I'm like, and I'll pick it up tomorrow at noon, have it ready for me, James, or whoever, and then I go and I park, and I text them, I'm in slot number 6, and then they come out with all my stuff, and they load it in my car, and I drive away. And I love it. Now, I understand why that type of grocery shopping for a lot of people wouldn't be ideal, especially if you get your vegetables at your grocery store. I don't get my vegetables at my grocery store. I get my vegetables at my produce stand, my green grocer. So I can fully appreciate why people are just like, oh, nobody is going to be picking out my apples but me. I get that. But luckily, my little produce stand, is so much easier to deal with than grocery stores. So I still get to pick my apples, and I don't have to go to the grocery store. It's wonderful. And Andre, now, this unfortunately is a true sign of the times, at least on the West Coast. Andre's starting to like ordering things online because when you go to places like CVS, everything is behind a locked cabinet. That actually is getting to be a little bit annoying. When Andy Bumatai was up in Seattle, he had to get some allergy medicine. And, of course, the allergy medicine was locked behind the flippin' thing. But just like everybody jokes about in CVS and in Walgreens and whatever, I think we were in Walgreens. It doesn't matter if it was Rite Aid or whatever. It wouldn't have mattered. It's locked behind the counter, and there's nobody there to unlock, or locked behind the cabinet, but there's nobody there to unlock the cabinet for us. And so what could have been like literally a 3-minute in and out ended up being a 15-minute. I mean, I guess actually it behooves the store to do this for a couple reasons. First off, it prevents theft. And second off, as you're standing there waiting for the guy to show up to unlock the cabinet, you look around and you're like, oh, I guess I need Band-Aids. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. I need nail polish remover. Oh, that's right. And the next thing you know, your cart's full. I mean, I'm thinking that maybe there's a twofold here for why they take so long to unlock that flippin' cabinet. But seriously, dude, Andre, you are totally onto something. As much as I prefer the brick and mortar stores, it is getting super frustrating. It's just like, really? You have to lock up laundry soap? Yes, they do have to lock up laundry soap. Really? You have to lock up toothpaste? Yeah, actually, in one store they have the toothpaste locked up. Really? Yeah. So, hey, Cindy Krause, so good to see you in the house. And, let's see here. Nicola T, mostly you just window shop at brick and mortar stores, except groceries and small mom and pop places. There you go. Yep. And Andre, brilliant. You get your groceries delivered, especially when it's heavy things like drink. So you buy multiple cases. Yeah, let somebody else do the heavy lifting. That's funny, but it's not funny, but it is funny. Yeah, Darlene, oh, for sure. Yeah, they're locking up the stuff for legit. There's certainly not. I didn't mean to imply that it was like some conspiracy theory to make us spend more money. No, the reason why they're locking stuff up is because they need to lock stuff up. I have no doubt in my mind that if the stores had choices, they would rather not lock their stuff up. Yeah, people are blatant and they just go in. And like I said, actually, the laundry detergent is one of the top thefts. Like people, because laundry detergent's kind of expensive and you kind of need it. And apparently there's a huge like black market laundry, like people are using laundry detergent like Tide, the good stuff, like as currency. I'll trade you one 96 ounce for, whatever. I mean, there's a whole, black market economy based around laundry detergent, apparently. And let's see here. Be around Secret Center with Ambien and Amazon. Be your own. Right. I have had that happen before, only it wasn't with Ambien. It was with a couple extra bottles of beer. Where one day I did order something and it was like, what is that? And you have no recollection what you order. And so it's like, it's like buying something twice because you get excited about it. You're like, ooh, I want this. And then you order it and then you forget that you ordered it. And then it shows up and you're like, oh, I don't know what this is. And then you open it and you're like, oh, I want this. And let's see here. Oh my God, Darlene, they showed a guy cutting the cords on electronic devices like phones, iPads, etc. They finally caught the guy. Yeah, I hope so. And let's see here. Andre, I want them to just replace the locked cabinets with vending machines, easier, and it put the sales clerk in a safer position in case they won't mug him to get all the contents out of the case. Oh, well, no, that's an idea. That is an idea. Let's see here. Nicola T, do I dare bring up the touchy subject of self-checkout? Like, why is there a Walmart employee checking stuff at the exit when I haven't been trained or paid to check out? Oh, Piccolo T, you don't even know. Oh, you don't even know. Yeah, first off, I don't get paid to work here. And so if you're making me work here, I want an employee discount, first off. And if something accidentally falls into my cart that I didn't pay for because I'm not trained how to use that stupid thing and I didn't realize that because it beeped, that beep didn't say it was the right beep, it was actually a warning beep or whatever. No, I have no patience for the self-checkout. I appreciate the option because there are some people who just don't want to deal with a cashier or customers or whatever. And so the self-checkout for those types of people is wonderful. But the fact of the matter is, the self-checkout area isn't designed for carts full of food. You don't have the conveyor belt the way it's cumbersome, it's stupid, and it only encourages people to steal. It really does. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can steal. And Walmart is starting to get, savvy to those. But the fact of the matter is, if you trust me enough to self-checkout, then you just need to trust me enough. And if you don't trust me enough to self-checkout, then pay some employees to go be that cashier. Because I don't want to take somebody's job. And I kind of feel like a scab when I'm doing my own self-checkout. Like I said, I know that there are times that I've loved self-checkout, but when they're the only option, no. And that is right. Yes, I know. I'm kind of surprised that Rick hasn't done this yet. But in case we aren't clear on this, this is a soapbox moment. And right, exactly, Andre. They already have like 5 employees in the self-checkout because they need to watch everybody. How about you just make those people cashiers, Oh, wait, you don't want to pay them the cashier's wage. Well, too bad. That's the cost of doing business. We've always had cashiers before. Robots don't need to take that job away. And there you have it. So, Rick, I beat you to it. Yeah, exactly. I know. I was just like, I'm starting to sound angry. Maybe I need a snack. Speaking of snacks, you guys, do you know how to eat Pringles? Do you know how to eat Pringles properly? There's a proper way to partake in a Pringle. Particularly, well, I was going to go with more P words, but I can't think of any. But yeah, there's a proper way to partake in a Pringle. Did you know that? There's 2 different ways you can eat them. And one of them is more flavorful than the other. Yes, Rick, you can, they are very lovely with dip. But sans dip, just straight out of the can, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but there's only salt or seasoned flavoring on one side of the Pringle. And the other side is unflavored, or it's potato flavored. So yeah, you normally want to, and Andre, you never liked Pringles that much. They seemed like reconstituted potatoes made into a chip. That's exactly what they are, actually. In fact, someone took Pringles to court over the fact that they aren't really a potato chip as much as they are a processed potato crisp. I don't know how the court ended up ruling as to why, if they were allowed to call themselves chips anymore, but that's exactly what they are. They are reconstituted and shaped into a stackable little thing. And Rick, 3 at a time. 3 at a time is a great way to eat the Pringles, but as it turns out, your instinct might be to put it on your tongue like you notice in this picture, some of them are like saddle shaped and some of them are taco shell shaped, right? Well, the saddle shape, the underneath of the saddle, as opposed to the top of the saddle, that's the one that doesn't have seasoning. So if you put your chip on your tongue like it was you're putting a saddle on the back of a horse and your tongue is the back of the horse, you're not getting the seasoned side of the chip. Only one side of the chip has seasoning, and that's the top side of the chip. It's the side of the chip that comes out of the can first, basically. And so yeah, Pringles, as it turns out, only has flavoring on one side. And so you can decide just how salty, I guess, that you want your chip experience to be, depending upon the side of the Pringle that hits your tongue first. That's right, Andre, gonna saddle up your tongue like a horse with a Pringle. And now you can't unsee a chip as a saddle on your tongue. Yep, and there you go. Sorry for that image. That wasn't really, I didn't really mean to paint that picture, but that was the only way I could describe it as the words were coming out of my mouth. And so, and then Andre, yes, this is a Jay and Silent Bob type topic. Well, you know, I mean, you had to get me up. I had to get off my soapbox and down into a Pringles can. What can I tell ya? And Felicia, exactly. Walmart logic does not apply. Totally. And Picolati, I saw what you said about the change making. We ain't even gonna touch that, honey. We ain't even gonna touch that. Hey, Elaine, so good to see you here. We were talking about self-checkout lines, and then I got angry, so I had to soothe myself with some Pringles, some talk of the Pringles. And now maybe we will shift gears and watch a little something from the North Shore, because I don't know if all y'all on the continental United States are aware of this, but right now on the Hawaii Islands, it is getting to be the winter season where the North Shore swells are coming in, and boy, are they coming in. Apparently this last weekend, the swells were super high, combined with some crazy high tides. There was some really serious action that was going on, and even though this isn't the exact time of year that this happens, some of the swells, they say, were actually bigger this weekend than the swells for last year's Eddie Cow competition. And if you remember correctly, which you might not, the Eddie is a competition that goes on the North Shore only when conditions are correct, when conditions are right. Now, this last weekend, the conditions were right. However, they probably wouldn't have called it for a couple reasons. First off, the the waiting period, the period for the Eddie Cow is this year between December 14th and March 12th, 2024. And so, so even if the swells were super ripe, and they knew that they were going to be coming in, the Eddie still wouldn't have been called because it's too early in the season. However, let's just say this was a month later that this happened. The Eddie probably wouldn't have been called anyway because the swells that came out of the water were way bigger than they forecasted. So the forecasters didn't even anticipate this level of action, and so people were actually caught off guard, and it was notable that they were caught off guard because with so many warning systems, satellite pictures, technology, etc. The islanders and the surfers have gotten pretty used to some fairly accurate surf reports, predictions, as it were. But yeah, it was definitely a surprise for everybody. Darlene, you heard they had to close the highway to clean off all the accumulated sand on the road. It wasn't drivable. That is indeed. And let's see here. Yes, Andre, you have a sneaker wave just like Cindy Krause warning and in the Bay Area swept a little girl and her mom away. Yeah, that is horrifying. And speaking of horrifying, this didn't happen to these folks, but this did happen just a few days ago at Sharks Cove. And I have to tell you, these idiots are very lucky.
Look at that. Oh, what the holy shit. They're getting it. Guaranteed. Right here. Right here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Here it comes. There it is. They're gone.
They're gone, bro.
They're gone. I told you. They're gone. Straight gone. There it is. That's the one. Where are they? I don't even know where they are.
Call the cops. Oh, there's the guy.
There's one. The other one's over here, I think. Maybe, I don't know, there's one of them. The other one's gone, probably. Hey, Max the ball.
Oh, look at this one. Look at this one.
This one's even bigger.
Oh, bro.
Get out of there. What are you still doing over there?
He's looking for his friend.
Max, get down. There they are. Act like that. Oh, shut up. They got around the back. Get out of there.
No, Andre, I can appreciate where you're coming from, but I don't think that those dudes, I think those dudes were on a Zoom or zoomed in. I don't think that those people that were making the video, the people that were out on the rocks would never have heard them. They would have needed a bullhorn to have over the crashing of the waves. There's just no way that they could have heard that. I mean, I totally appreciate what you're saying, but frankly, even before the wave came, people should have been yelling at him, never turn your back to the ocean, brah. I mean, he was not once, but twice he turned his back to the, I mean, even after the huge wave, he went and got out of there and looked at the shore. Now, I know he was looking for his buddy and he probably was not really thinking, but dude, you're out on the, I mean, we've already gotten the soapbox out tonight, so we're just gonna leave it sit, but you know where I'm going with the soapbox, right? Oh my God. Yeah. And I don't know for certain, but wasn't that shark, it sort of looked like that was Sharks Cove where they were at, but then again, I don't really know it doesn't really matter. Those were some huge flippin' waves. And apparently all of the beaches on the North Shore and the West Side have got maximum lifeguard staffing. There's incredible warnings. There's tape up all, like, there was plenty of, I have no doubt in my mind that whatever beach they were on, wherever they were, there was plenty of verbal warnings, signage, markings, etc. that said, don't go beyond this point. You're taking your life in your own, hands if you go in the water. If you go, don't go beyond this point. And exactly, Darlene, they just shouldn't have been out there. Common sense was not used in that decision, not at all. It just doesn't, Picola T, now you know my secret pacifier. So we need to bring out the Pringles can to calm Statter down again? Yeah, baby needs her bottle, her can. You know the secret. And, seriously, well, and then Cindy Krause, exactly, seriously, you endanger not only yourself, but what about the guy who's going to try to save you? That's what I was thinking before I saw them climbing back up out of the water, was just like, well, who's going to volunteer to go into, how can you even retrieve a body out of that cacophony of waves, right? And so, Darlene, it was by the North Shore. Right, yeah, and Sharks Cove is on the North Shore. So, there was a news report even showing the bicycle path we walked down, the fencing got ripped down. Darlene, funny you should say that, because that's the next clip I was about to show. Actually, I don't know if it's the same news clip, but it covers the same thing. Precisely, Rick, Sunset Beach, the fencing was down, all sorts of stuff. And that is actually mentioned in this little news clip that we're going to watch, so we can watch the different ramifications of what the weather brought this weekend to the island. And Felicia, ain't no common sense. What is wrong with people? That's all I gotta say. All right, so here's the news from a few days ago.
Now, as promised, to the big surf. It was rolling in some of the sets again as high as 50 feet today. The swell hitting north-facing shorelines overnight. The National Weather Service telling us the swell was even larger than expected. Nikki Schenfeld reporting today on efforts to keep the roads clear of debris and keep all the humans safe.
Well, this is definitely the biggest swell so far of the season, and some are saying it might be the biggest swell that they've seen in decades, even bigger than the Eddy swell earlier this year. And winter is just getting started. Overnight, a massive northwest swell peaked and coincided with high tide, alarming beachfront residents from Mokuleia to Hauula.
During the midnight, and then I heard the big noise, the wave noise, and then the building kind of shake, and then my dog barked, and I thought, oh, maybe water came in.
He said it was about 1 a.m.
This time happened one or two times before, but never happened. Water came into the temple ground to this a lot, this much. This morning we are supposed to set up the Christmas tree, but cancel. We clean up.
The majority of yards suffered minor damage, with some homeowners reporting minor flooding under their homes. One home was damaged. Kamehameha Highway turned into a beach at Rock Piles, Sunset, and Laniakea as waves washed over the highway.
5:30 and just saw mountains of water washing over the road, man. It's crazy.
Cars were stuck in the sand and lifeguards blocked off the road behind their tower until city crews came to clean it up. People and bikers forced to use the highway instead of the bike path at Sunset as debris washed over Paumalu Bridge.
So the swell kind of peaked this early this morning along with a really high tide, so we had a lot of sand get pushed up on roads. Debris everywhere, houses getting flooded, I heard, along Keiki side. So it's been that combination was a disaster this morning when we got to work, and the city county's cleaning up, and we're making sure everybody's safe.
Over at Waimea, surfers took on the powerful swell.
Waimea was really fun. It was a little bit unexpected, kind of caught everyone off guard. Definitely bigger than we thought, which is kind of rare these days with all the forecasting and all the professionals involved. It's pretty rare to get caught off guard, but there was some really big waves there for a few hours.
Wave heights were projected at 50 to 60 feet face value when it peaked this morning. And although this swell was eddy size, especially this morning, the holding period for that competition doesn't begin for a few more weeks. Lifeguards are reminding the public that these conditions are going to be extremely dangerous throughout the weekend. So abide by the caution tape, stay behind it, stay off of wet sand, and experienced surfing.
Oh my God. Okay. So, yeah. I didn't mean to turn on the Black Cat intro. That was a mistake. I pushed the wrong button. And then when I pushed the button, I pushed a different button. And then there was no sound. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Andre. Every time I make a mistake, Andre puts, Andre gives gifts. Every time I mess up, Andre gives gifts. I guess maybe I should mess up. There I go, talking to myself again. I know, right, exactly. And exactly, Gina, I had all of the answers to the meaning of life right there, and I completely forgot any of those words that I said. Yeah. So what I tried to say was, the news clip was almost over. And she was just saying, stay out of the water. I try to get things prepared. I really do. I know it doesn't always seem like it. But if it's one thing you know, this is me. This is how it works. And if ever a week or two goes by without some kind of malfunction, I need you to question whether or not I have been taken over by an evil robot a la Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Because if something goes flawlessly, that's a pretty good indication that that's not really her. Someone did a body swap. Something's not right. She didn't mess up yet. That's, somebody needs to look into that. Exactly. No malfunction. That's when the cows will come home. Yeah. So, if nothing else, I'm consistent. And, yeah. How about that? Andre, if it's an alien, you'll know it's an alien if the subject of food doesn't eventually come up. Yeah, we've actually had one or two entire streams where we didn't talk about food. But we're almost close to 250 streams now, not including Statterbox at the cinema, just the chatter with Statters. We're on the verge. I think we're going to hit 250 if everything goes right on Christmas Eve. And of the 250 streams, I am going to go out on a limb and say less than 5 have probably not mentioned any food. Now, we've definitely had streams where food wasn't the topic, sort of like today. But did we talk about food? Well, yes, we did, because I had to have my comfort Pringle, right? So, we've already got the food covered today. And exactly, Andre, we like food. That's why it scatters here. Yeah, well, you know, it's one thing that we basically all have in common. I mean, like it or not, we all have to eat food to stay alive. It might be liquid food. It might be food supplements. It might be junk food. It might be real food. It might be whatever. But you know, we all need food. And Darlene, thank you so much for the congrats. But, you know, actually, the congrats will be happening to all of us on the 250th episode, because there's no way in hell, pardon my French, but seriously, there's no way in hell that this could have happened without the Chatterbox crew. Trust me, I do not have the egomaniacal sense to come here and talk online to nobody for 250 times in a row. So what is happening here? We're all to blame for it, okay? It's all our fault. All of us. And Rick, you know, you do bring up a good point. Technically, Pringles are not food, so perhaps this could be considered a non-food oriented stream. And Pringles are the Prel of chips. There we go, Prel chips. That's it. There we go. Our green Pringles. Our Prel chips, our green Pringles is what we can call them now. So, so Darlene, not willing to take any blame for anything, corrects me. We're all part of this endeavor. And for sure, you and Rick are a full-on part of it. Almost every single day here, modding the mods and keeping the bad boys out with his Sword of No Mercy. Granted, Gina's a great mod, Shock is a great mod, etc., etc., but Rick is the one who oftentimes does seem to have his sword out at the ready, unless, of course, he's at the North Shore cabin, in which case, his sword is carefully tucked away back at home in Milwaukee, and that is fine, because even the best sword needs a rest now and again. And, Cola Tea, Prel chips sounds like a fruitcake rating system. All right, there we go. And so I'm going to... Okay, so Cola Tea, now if that were to be the case, and I'm open to this dialogue, would one Prel chip be the winner, or would 5 be the winner? And the reason why I ask is because normally it seems like 5 stars would be good. But to me, it seems like the one Prel chip would be the winner, because that means it tasted so good, you only needed one Prel chip to wash the horrible fruitcake taste out of your mouth. Whereas 5 being the worst, right? Because you need 5 Prel chips to wash the horrible taste out of your mouth. Okay, Cola Tea, we are onto something here. It is a back-ass-words little rating system, but that is it. So you want to strive for less Prel chips. Now, speaking of fruitcake, I've threatened to do this before, and I've not done it, but this year I actually think I might, because I finally found the pan that I thought I had, but then couldn't find, and now I found it again. I might make a fruitcake. And for those of you who have heard this threat before, no, Picola Tea, I will not be, well, actually, I might taste test this fruitcake, but I've threatened it before, and I think this year I might come true with my threat. I'm gonna make a Spam cheesecake. No, that is not true. A Spam cheesecake sounds awful. I'm gonna make a Spam fruitcake. And that's right, a Spam fruitcake does sound better than a Spam cheesecake. And I'll bet you're thinking, no, it doesn't. 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 Spam does not belong in fruitcake. But I think it does. And Rick, the big fruitcake question, how much rum? I don't know, but I'm going to be using Captain Morgan's Spice Rum, and so I figure I will be generous. How about that? And Picola Tea, oh my God, Picola Tea, you share my vision. You understand my creative genius, my creative madness. You get it. That is exactly the inspiration that I'm thinking. Like, so there actually is, by Hormel Spam, a candied Spam recipe where you can chop it up into tiny bits, coat it in brown sugar, maybe some butter, I don't remember the exact, and then, bake it, and you have the little candied Spam, right? So you got your candied Spam, you got some pineapple, I'm gonna think maybe some golden raisins, maybe a dried cherry, definitely some dried cherries, And then some, nutmeg and cinnamon and clovey spices. Because here's the deal. People already coat their ham with pineapple juice, cloves, and cherries. So ham, pineapple, cherries, and clove is already a flavor profile that is traditional. And so, so I'm thinking if I put in, now because there's going to be a meat product in this particular fruitcake, I'm not suggesting this fruitcake is the type of fruitcake that you're going to save for years. You're going to want to eat it. But I have candied Spam before, and it really does dry out. It's not, candied Spam has so much salt and sugar in it that it really kind of, I know it's meat and it should be refrigerated and the like, but it's also kind of preserved in its own way. I mean, it's not going to go rotten. I'm not going to save it for years, but I don't know. I feel like this is doable, right? And then, Elaine, dried cranberries, heck to the yes. Once again, part of the holiday flavor profile that I'm going for. I hadn't thought about the cranberries, but I'm glad that we are having this discussion because yes, indeedy, right? And see, okay, candied bacon, definitely good, but you can also candy Spam, right? So I'm actually thinking of making a Spam fruitcake. And as far as the chocolate glaze goes for Cola Tea, I don't necessarily know if I would do that on my first batch because I sort of want to experiment with the flavor profiles, but I definitely could see that being a next level experiment. And there's nothing to say about having a chocolate. There's no rule against having chocolate glaze on the side for people who want to maybe dip their fruitcake into some chocolate glaze because chocolate covered fruit is delicious and I enjoy where you're coming from with this. And so, oh my gosh, Cindy Krause, you happen to have a piece of fruitcake from your great grandmother's wedding? Darlene asking the question that I hope we have that answer to, which is in the freezer? I hope. And yes, exactly, Cola Tea, fruitcake fondue. I mean, why not, You gotta get the nasty Prel chips out of your mouth, right? But yeah, for real, I am thinking about doing a Spam fruitcake. Why I said Spam cheesecake, I do not know, and I really don't think I'll ever run with that idea. I'm not sure I could really make that one work. But Spam fruitcake, I really do think might work, and I think it's just crazy enough of an idea that because look, you guys, what didn't Hormel already put out a pumpkin spiced Spam? So I mean, they already know what I'm thinking. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that Hormel hasn't come out with a Spam fruitcake yet. And so and then okay, so Andre, what if you use the fruitcake Spam in the Spam fruitcake? I didn't think they had a fruitcake Spam. I thought it was a pumpkin spice one. But oh wait, they put out a Spam fruitcake? You mean I didn't think of this? Wait, hold on. When you say they put out a Spam fruitcake, do you mean they put out a fruitcake made with Spam? Or do you mean they came out with a can of Spam with fruitcake flavors? Because I wanted to invent this. I wanted to show Hormel my idea and have them do it. They already did it. Ah, but baby, they already did it. I'm still gonna do it. They already did it. Fine, whatever. Fine. Let's see here, and yeah, exactly. Cindy, your great grandma's cake must be as hard as a doorstopper. And Darlene, no, eat that fruitcake, Cindy. Okay, you're bad. It was Spam figgy pudding. Okay, well, there you go. But the Spam figgy pudding... Oh, wait. But once again, But I'm still not sure what you mean by that, Andre. Do you mean they made figgy pudding with Spam in it? Or do you mean they made a can of Spam with figgy pudding flavors? Because if they made a figgy pudding with Spam in it, I feel like my fruitcake idea has already kind of been. Oh, so it was a can of Spam figgy pudding. That actually still didn't answer the question. Hey, BB Bang. Good to see you. We are talking about fruitcakes right now. I don't know if they have fruitcakes in Finland. Andre, that's okay. That's okay. I'm still gonna try to make my Spam fruitcake. I don't know if they have fruit. Let's try this again, shall we? I don't know if Finland has a tradition of making fruitcakes for the holiday season, but in other Northern European countries, they make this abomination called a fruitcake for the holiday season. And so I thought I would take the idea of fruitcake and take it to one step further of, oh, why would you do that? And I thought I would add Spam to my fruitcake. And I'm sure you probably know what Spam is, but if you don't know what Spam is, well, boy, we have got some things to talk about. But hey, you guys, we can definitely and probably will continue this topic later. However, it's getting to be right around our Lono Listening Break time. But today we're going to do a little bit of a different Lono Listening Break. And PPB Bang, I'm glad that you're in the house, because Lono is a musician here that basically, it's all the music you're going to hear on my stream. He's given me permission to play it, so I don't have to worry about copyright strikes. But if you don't really know so much about Lono, his background, the kind of music that he makes, what he does, etc., etc., this is a quick 5-minute documentary about LonoMusic made by Molokai Matt, a filmmaker on the island of Molokai. And just because I look for all of the excuses to do this, God dang it, my cat is got an idea of her. Uh-oh, I forgot to do this. Hold on. We're gonna do this. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. But just in case you think that Mapstatter is not doing all that she could be doing, there we go. I had to have a map for this. Here we have it. And so this is the map of the Hawaii Islands. Honolulu is the island that Oahu is on the island of Oahu, and that is the island we were talking about earlier, about all the waves on the North Shore. But Molokai is the island just to the right of Oahu. It's the island that basically just sort of looks like a dash in there in the middle of the ocean, just a straight line. It's the most, simply shaped island on the in the island chain, and it houses about 8,000 people or so, and LonoMusic happens to be one of them. And let's see here. Here is a little bit about our friend Lono.
My name is Lono, and I am a participant and a player in the company LonoMusic, and we do old style, traditional Hawaiian music from Molokai, and our music mainly consists of Molokai's history, its historical sites, its people, and sacred places.
Then we say Molokai nui a hina, Molokai is of hina. E ola mau, e aloha vau ia oi. Love you, Molokai. May you live forever. Home hanau, puleo, birthplace, the powerful prayer. E Molokai nui a hina.
wasn't born on Molokai, but I was raised here most of my youth. And I attended Kilohana School and Molokai High School. Music was pretty easy for me because of my tutu lady teaching me and kind of nurturing me to that direction. We started off with, it was called LonoMusic. And it was basically music that I enjoyed when I was a youth. And my kupuna and my makua would be playing and listening to this music and having so much fun with it. And as the time went by, I lost a lot of kupuna, a lot of tutus, and a lot of my makua. They left now. And now I miss them and I miss their music. So I know that music is the closest thing that I knew of that brought them back to me, brought the memory of them back to me. My biggest influence was definitely Pop's Gary Pahinui. Because my uncle played bass guitar for him, Joe Gang, that was my uncle. And him and I, we played the same way, we played both left-handed, yeah. And so that was my biggest influence. And, I played all kinds of music. I played rock and roll, jazz, hip-hop, rap. I did all this music. And none of them really gave me the satisfaction, the joy that comes from inside than this type of music. And when I see the kupuna's faces, smiling with tears coming down, I know I did my job. And that feeling is something that wells up inside of you and just wells up and just comes out. You got to kind of get back into the lo'i, let's just say, get back into the taro patch and do your work in order to feel the aina and feel it so that you can be exposed to all of its histories. And so therefore it's not from me personally, but it is from the aina, from the land and the people that were here before us. We just stay here on Molokai, and we rarely leave the island to promote our CDs. We don't have any distribution. We do it ourselves. And, when I speak of we, it's myself and Akua. So I always try to invite him in as my team, as one of my team players, and I'm one of his team players. And so with his help, I'm able to perpetuate this music.
There you have it. So now, if you weren't a little bit familiar about LonoMusic, that is a little bit of background about LonoMusic. And I posted a link on the chat, whichever side of the video your chat might be at. It is a hot link, but basically all you need to do is go to LonoMusic.com and you can download any of the albums that he has available for purchase there. And another album will be coming out in the next couple weeks. You can also get the Eevee Project albums at LonoMusic.com. Gina, you thought he grew up on Oahu. Yes and no. So he was born on Oahu. But his family, or his mother, was married to a gentleman who was the ranch manager of a big ranch on Molokai. Cannot remember the name. It's very famous. You could look it up, but that's neither here nor there. So he grew up on the Pu'uhoku, I think, or is what it's called, ranch. And he went back and forth between Molokai and Oahu, where his grandparents lived. And once he had enough football aspirations, Molokai didn't have a big football team. So he went to go live with his grandparents on Oahu to play football at Waianae. So he lived for a little bit on Oahu as well. And I think he went to college for a quick minute at University of Hawaii Manoa. And then after that, I believe he moved to Maui for a little bit, did some things and stuff, and then moved to the mainland, California. Lived there for a little while, had some issues. We won't get into them. He talks about it. As an intro for some of the songs that he has written. And then he went back to Maui and lived there for 20 plus years. And then him and his partner in life moved back to Molokai, where they currently own a home. And like he said, he pretty much never leaves Molokai. His ideal, he has said to me that he will only agree to live shows that allow him to sleep in his own bed that night. So basically, he could fly out to Maui or take the Maui ferry, do an early afternoon show, and then come back into Molokai and sleep in his own bed. And that's probably the only way you're ever going to see him, unless he's playing a show on Molokai. Because he's just like, I'm an old man. I kind of want to just sleep in my own bed. I've lived, I've toured before. I've lived on the road. I don't need to do that again. And so, And so he didn't grow up on Oahu, but he definitely spent plenty time in Oahu growing up. And Pakola T, you don't even know how lucky you were to hear him on Maui. Quite honestly, that could have been his very last show that he ever will do. So, and Andre, unless you bring Lono a bed, he's not going far. Well, I don't know, dude. I think it's more than just his bed. Like, he needs his partner, he needs his bedroom, it's not just his bed. It's the whole thing. And Rick, Lono's not old. No, I don't think he's old, but he says that he's old enough that he doesn't necessarily want to not be in his own bed at night. And, he's earned that right without a doubt. And he's a retired person now on Molokai, because he did used to be a lifeguard, or a beach guard as he refers to it, up on Maui. He was the captain actually of the beach guards when he lived over on Maui. And so he's earned, not only was he a lifeguard, but he also was a musician that played in the clubs and the hotels at night. So he basically kind of had, 2 full-time jobs when he was on Maui. He was hustling, he wasn't just a musician. He had like a day job as well. And consequently, that's why he is able to retire, having a day job and having your musician side job gives you a little bit more economic breathing room, which is exactly what Kavika Ortiz is doing as well. Kavika Ortiz is another musician that some of us are familiar with here. Kavika is a musician on Maui, but not only is he a musician on Maui who plays a lot of gigs at hotels, etc., etc. If you follow Kavika on his Facebook, you'll see that he's playing the Hilton Hotel. He plays at Nalu's every Tuesday and Wednesday, or maybe every Wednesday. He plays at the Hilton on Fridays. He's got various gigs throughout the week. But his day job, Kavika Ortiz actually not only has a day job, he has a real ass day job. He's the auditor for the county of Maui. I mean, it's a real job, man. He's not just some schmuck, flipping burgers or checking you out at CVS. He actually like has a real flipping job. And so Kavika, sort of like Lono, burning the candle at both ends while he's young enough to do it. And he will be set up later on in life a little bit more comfortably than if he had just used his musician funds, because it's so difficult, even on an island like Maui, which has a lot of opportunities for local musicians. It's still very difficult to make a living. And yeah, exactly, Darlene. He's around a lot of places. And yes, Pecola Tea, Four Seasons is what I actually meant, not the Hilton. And yeah, he works hard many, many hours. And I have a CD from Kavika as well, although I don't think it's signed, but I don't remember. And let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Andre. You go see some music and then suddenly it's like, hey, that's the guy who audited me. Yep, exactly. It's exactly how it happens. But yeah, so that is basically the story of Lono and then musicians who have side jobs, or rather, people who have jobs who have musician as a side job, like Kavika. Lono was one of those as well. And let's see here. And Andre, no, right, exactly. You can't boo him because he will re-audit you. That's funny. And Gina, yeah. And as I've mentioned before, Lono has relatives on probably all of the islands. So I think he's got connections on almost all of the islands. But basically, though, Maui, Oahu, and Molokai do seem to be his main three. And so, yeah. So when Andy says that he knew Lono in high school, when Keone Nunez says that he knew Lono in high school, neither of these guys are lying. Lono actually was there. And if I remember correctly, Keone Nunez recalls that Lono always had a really nice car. So I don't know what car. I think it was some kind of Camaro, if I remember correctly, when he was in high school. But yeah, apparently he had a really nice car. So I'm sure Lono was one of the popular kids because he was a football player and a surfer and a musician, and he had a really nice car. I'm thinking there were people who wanted to be around him. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not old enough. And I didn't live there. All right, so let's see here. We have got Andre. Lono's just too cool. He does it all. Well, he does do a lot of stuff, totally. And let's see here. Lono probably had cool hair in high school too. I've seen his high school picture. I've seen a couple pictures from high school, and it wasn't as long as it is now. It's definitely on the longer side, but it wasn't. Here's the deal. Lono's hair now is way cooler than it was when he was in high school. All right, that's just how it goes. It was shorter, curly, short. I mean, not short. It was 1973 short, which wasn't really short at all. 73. But another thing, though, actually, that Lono did when he was in high school was he used to ride in rodeos as well. So talk about doing everything. Yeah, dude, he actually used to compete in rodeos. I don't think he competed well, according to his version of the story. But he actually competed in rodeos as well. And yeah, Darlene, I guess it had to fit in his football helmet. And I don't know what the rules were back in the day. I mean, I know that now plenty football players have long flowing locks outside their helmet, but that did not used to be the case. Even when long hair was a fashion, like the football players always sort of still had it short enough that it was under their helmet, right? So yeah, it was definitely short enough to fit in his football helmet. And yeah, there you have it. And if I remember the story correctly from Andy, Keone, and Lono, the stadium, which is now going to be torn down, before that stadium was built, there was a different stadium there. I want to call it like the Termite Palace or something. I think it was wooden, hence the name. And Lono and Keone played one of the last football game, or the last football game ever to be held in that stadium right before it was torn down. They played there, and I'm pretty sure Andy also was at that event. Only Andy was in the school band playing piccolo because Andy was smart and knew that it was much easier to be in a band where you could put your instrument in your pocket, and it was great to play an instrument that only girls played because then you got to sit next to all the girls. See, Andy was a thinker, even back in the day. And okay, Piccola T says, Mr. Piccola T said his coach wouldn't allow him to play football unless he had short haircut. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case back in the early 70s all over the country. Football coaches are like, nah, you gotta have the short hair to be on my team, as it were. But you know what? I don't. Norms are different all throughout the country, and I don't know whether or not long hair was as common in Hawaii then as it was now. I'm thinking that even back in the early 70s, Hawaii was still on the short hair side, despite the movement to go back to the natural longer hair that came shortly afterwards. And Darlene, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I can believe it. Rick Foot with short hair. That just makes me sad. It doesn't seem right. Just doesn't work for me. And you were short haired till you retired. Well, I'm glad you retired, Rick, and brought your true Rick Foot self out into the open. And Piccola T, right, your cheerleader skirts were super short, but you couldn't show any midriff skin. Of course not. Because Lord knows a belly is gonna just send everyone over the top, especially in a place like Hawaii, where bikinis are unheard of. And nobody has ever seen a belly button in Hawaii. That would just send people over the top. Because, you know, in Hawaii, they cover up from head to toe. All the skin is covered. What? That's so silly, but I'm not surprised at all. And let's see here. Yep, there were regulations at the job, even with beards too. I mean, I guess I could see it depending upon what type of machines you work with. You want to keep some things trimmed up. You know, you don't want your beard hair to get caught in something, caught in the grinder. But I don't know. I mean, you can always pull your hair back in a ponytail, right? I don't really know what you would do with your beard, though. To me, it seems like the beard length is a little bit more of an understandable regulation than hair length. But, no machines. And he was with the engineers drafting. Well, then who gives a flying fork what you look like? Some kind of IBM BS over there. My dad worked for IBM, and when my dad worked for IBM, it was a fight to allow the repairmen to wear short-sleeved office shirts because they were repairmen, and sometimes their hand. It was Hawaii. It was hot. They finally got permission to wear the short-sleeved office shirts. They had to wear a tie still, though, and the office shirts, of course, only could be white, except for on Aloha Friday. And on Aloha Friday, your office shirt could be a pastel color. So if you wanted a pale yellow or a pale blue, or if you were crazy like that and chose a pink, you could wear a pale blue, yellow, or pink office shirt with a tie on Aloha Fridays. Fridays were special. They were wild and crazy, you guys. They were wearing baby blue. Yeah. That's what they did in IBM. And oh no, Andre, not at IBM. An Aloha shirt on Aloha Friday? You have got to be flipping kidding me. No, the best IBM could offer is we can give you some yellow, we can give you some pink, we can give you some blue. But there better not be any palm trees or anything like that. Nope, not happening. Yeah. Silly. Now, this kitty right here, you guys, you might notice they're a little bit less freaky. That's because this is Dusty. This is Dusty. And, oh, Honey Bunches, Andre, this isn't the 50s. This was the 70s. This was the 70s, silly kitten. And so... Rare look at the Ashes man, you guys. Just so you know, this is Ashes. And Picola T, food servers with beards. Wait, did you say? Okay. Whoa. Wait. Hold on. Food servers with beard nets weird me out. I mean, I appreciate the hygienics, but it's still weird to see. I have never seen a beard net. And I can appreciate, actually, why they would wear one, but I have never seen a beard net before. That would weird me out. I would be weirded out. So, hold on. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna put you down. And let's see here. Oh, Andre, you were saying that they were in a time warp. And then, yes, Gina, he is the sweet little Dusty. And let's see here. Darlene, you thought it was Dusty. Good eye. There is a difference. Yes, you like the kitty pictures I posted on Facebook. Me too. And okay, wow, okay. A net for a beard. All right. That makes sense. And Andre, hairnets can kind of weird you out. They do look weird, and I can appreciate why they weird you out, because they do look weird, but dude, they really actually, like, they make a difference. They really do. If you're a long-haired food server, wearing your hair back in a ponytail actually doesn't work. You need to wear a hairnet. You just do. I've seen way too many of my own hairs in my own food to know this, but actually at Zippy's, they eventually had to institute a hairnet rule, because everybody who worked at Zippy's had long hair, except for the manager. The manager was bald, so whenever Jesse was in the kitchen, you never had to risk a hair in your food, because Jesse didn't have no hair to drop. But everybody else had long hair in the kitchen, and after enough customers were like, dudes, Blaine, the owner, was just like, sorry guys, a ponytail ain't cutting it, a hat's not cutting it, we all have to do hairnets. So there you go. And I would rather have a hairnet than a scarf. Scarves are hot, dude. Have you ever put a scarf over your head? That is hot. The last thing you want to do, really, actually, I'd rather wear a hairnet than a hat. Hats are hot, scarves are hot. And when I'm in that kitchen, and trust me, Zippy's kitchen could get super fucking hot. No, I would much rather have just the net. Just the net, for sure. And Gina, yes, Dusty is a little fluffier on the neck and more dark brown than black like his sister. Yes, because Dusty got what I call sun-kissed this summer. He spent enough time outside sleeping in the sun that his black hair got all sun-bronzed, whereas his sister spent much more time indoors, and she retained her gothic, glossy black scariness. And, let's see here. But you guys, I'm very proud that you can tell my little kitties apart. Yes, indeedy. All right, so I promised this before. And Andre, yeah, you've always had short hair, so you didn't need a hairnet or a nothing. But when you've got long hair, I don't know. Long hair is warmer than short hair, and hat on a head. Would you believe it if I told you I'm a little hot-headed? Yeah. Literally and figuratively, I'm a little hot-headed. Wearing hats makes me sweat like nobody's business. Wearing a scarf around my head makes me sweat like nobody's business. So, I will definitely choose the net over the scarf any day. However, switching gears, we're gonna go pull reverse a little bit. Our first Lono Listening Break wasn't really a Lono Listening Break as much as a Lono Learning Break. So, I promised an actual Lono Listening Break. And we're getting to the bottom of the hour almost. So before we run out of time, I am going to play a song that is a Hawaiian traditional song that is used to close out almost any public ceremony, any public event, any kind of anything. And it's called Hawaii Aloha. And so here's a little pro tip. If you want to seem like you're somewhat familiar with local traditions and you are going to some kind of event on the islands, it would behoove yourself to familiarize yourself with this song, so when all of a sudden at the end of the event, when everyone breaks out into this song, you'll A, know what's going on, and B, you might actually know a couple of the words. This particular version is an instrumental, but it is our Lono Listening Break that is for the end of our show. And like I said, this particular song is what is traditionally done at the end of an event. PPP Bang, go eat now. You go eat now, silly kitten. No need to go this long without eating. You go eat, and we'll listen to Lono. All right, there we have it. Picola T, lip syncing this song is totally acceptable. Yes, it is sung in a different language after all, and so you might only know a couple words that you're confident with, and then you got to lip sync the rest. Absolutely, absolutely. That being said, no need to lip sync to the version of Lono's because, as you could tell, it was an instrumental, and people might think you're weird. So, Darlene, there you go. Hula, not so much, but swaying you can do. Hula, not in your wheelhouse. I get it. I don't have the knees for the hula, honey bunches. Hula is very hard on the knees. Anyone who hulas, they got good knees. All right, you guys, we've got 3 minutes left until the bottom of the hour. I want to thank you guys for the subs, the resubs, the biddies, the hanging out, the communication, the everythings. Darlene, good hips too. Very true. Good back, good hips, good knees. Got to have all those things. Basically, you better have some thighs of steel if you're going to hula. Let's just leave it at that. But I want to thank everybody for hanging out today, making this another fun chat. And for putting up with my soapbox moment. But on that soapbox moment, I'm not the only one to blame. Piccola T brought up the subject, but Piccola T also brought up a brilliant rating scheme today of our Prel chips, and so we might have to look into that. And in regards to my spam fruitcake, if and when it happens, you guys will for sure be seeing what the end result is. Oh, and speaking of the spam fruitcake, I was thinking I might put some dates in there too. So we will see just how that ends up. But before we will see just how that ends up, we will hopefully see each other on Wednesday for Chatter with Statter, 5 p.m. West Coast time. 8 p.m. East Coast, what is it? 5 p.m. would be 3 p.m. Hawaii time. You know. And then, as we talked about last night, next Satterbox at the Cinema is going to be Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland, Alex Winter, and the Coreys, and Jamie Gertz, and others. There you go, and others. And let's see here. Oh, Piccola T, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. eMusic, super stoked you got to be here. And all right, you guys, I think we might wrap this up a little minute early. Even though Puzzycat is not here to give us the 2-minute warning. We are on it. Today. All right, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We will see each other in a couple days, I hope. Take care. See you soon.